Hi there, and we are here again. It's Monday, and it's time for the new episode of Behind the Mask. So, what we do with the series is basically we're bringing frontline responders to talk about their experiences during doing our jobs, and really showing how does our job really looks like when you are lifting off that mask, and really talking about the true kind of behind the scenes what's happening. So today we have with us Audrey. Hi.
Hey, Natalie, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Caffeinated and ready to go.
Fantastic. Like a true first responder.
Exactly.
So could you please tell us a little bit, well, first of all, introduce yourself, tell us what you do, and just give us a few minutes, just a few words about yourself.
Okay. My real name's Audrey. You can just call me Audrey. I am a brand new EMT, and I just recently started working this year to help with the COVID crisis. I just finished wrapping up a deployment at a COVID hospital in Sacramento, and now I'm just on standby waiting for my next order. So I got to start my career during a pandemic, so God has a sense of humor. So
it just makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You really jumped into it right off the bat.
Good job. Yeah. I had to be that extra.
Of course. Oh, I hear you. We don't do anything half-assed, right?
Exactly.
Of course. So tell me a little bit about what have your experiences been since this COVID-19 started, and just tell me.
Oh boy, where to begin? So I've been applying as an EMT for a year since I got my license, got no hits anywhere. And finally, when the COVID crisis hit, all of a sudden there was employment for EMT. So I got picked up with the state, and I was sent to the COVID hospital at the Sleep Train Amphitheater in Sacramento. And for those of you in Sacramento, that's where the Sacramento Kings play. And they gave the arena to the state to use as a field hospital. And experience, not just with COVID, but my career was in a field hospital. So that was a pretty surreal experience because, with EMTs, you're trained to be mobile, you're trained to be in an ambulance, and really your only contact with the hospital is when you transport your patients, get them to the doctor's care, and then you go back out on the road. So going into a field hospital was definitely new territory, but I had amazing staff full of experienced doctors, nurses, EMTs. They helped us get on board. They helped us make sure that we were safe at all times. So we had full PPE gear. So basically show up to work and don on your full PPE and then go in the hospital and interact with the patients. So it's been a really eye-opening experience, but it's also been very educational, and it's very beneficial because I don't think I'd get this kind of experience during normal times. You know what I mean? And it was just really neat to just be able to, well, I mean, that's kind of a weird word to use, but it was just neat just to go in there and to just help the patient, put my skills to use, and just see firsthand what this virus does.
Yeah, I feel like nothing is it's anything besides normal. Everything that is happening right now is so abnormal for everybody.
Here I am, like before my job, I would look through my EMT books and, just kind of brush up on everything. And I go in and, I'm in a world of nurses and doctors now. And as you know, they have their own jargon and their own way of doing things. And they're very comfortable in a hospital environment, whereas EMTs, working 12 hours in a hospital is kind of not what our training is. But they have been really cool at just introducing us and just helping us out along the way. So that's been really cool. They've been more, and, even I would tell them like, hey, just a heads up, us EMTs, we kind of need your help a little bit because this is a little bit outside our comfort zone, but they were more than happy to accommodate and to help us out. So it's been a really good experience, good learning experience, especially. So.
Yeah, I think like a lot of us have been just thrown into an environment that we typically don't function in, right? Including them and you. So it's like all of a sudden you're in a brand new team. You just have to get together, with
Exactly.
brand new people and being able to function within brand new environment with critical patients.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And fortunately, we're not overrun with patients, but we have just enough patients where each of us can put our skills to the test and take care of them. And it was really neat because the way they have it set up, every day you go to the hospital to work, you're not going in the hot zone. So some days you're helping out with doffing or donning PPE. So you're not always in that hot zone getting exposed. But they also gave us a chance to go and help the patients. So it's been a really positive experience. I just like how, like I said, I don't think I'd get this kind of experience during a quote unquote normal time. So.
Yeah, makes sense.
Mhm.
Has there been any like specific incidents that you wanted to tell us about?
I'm trying to think. There was one experience where I actually was sent to go to a care home facility to help assist with the COVID patients there. And to make a very long story short, I was assigned to go, but then once I went in, it was just nobody knew who I was, what I was doing, and it was one of those times where I was just there by myself. So, no supervisor or nobody else with me. And it was just one of those incidents where I had to really like, oh crap, I'm the new rookie. I gotta, think on my feet. I gotta make sure that the choices I make from here on out are good ones, and ones that will also get the support of my superiors. And so, long story short, I ended up not working there that night because I didn't feel it was completely safe. And as far as PPE goes and just the way it was managed. So my gut told me, get out, get out, get out. But then another voice in my head said, but this is your duty. You got to help out. And so it was kind of a battle with my conscience. And I just followed my gut and just hoped to God, like, oh my God, I hope my superiors understand and support my decision, which eventually they did. But that was a big deal for me because, again, I was, just by myself and having to make, a big decision like that, without anybody guiding me along the way. So that to me was a big stepping stone for me, like learning and training wise. So.
It sounds really stressful because, I mean, you show up, right? You're expecting to have appropriate equipment to work with, and then all of a sudden something doesn't go right. And, you have to communicate with people that you typically don't know in a situation that you don't know, and probably area that you don't know either, right?
Mm-hmm.
And another thing,
you're not getting the feedback you need to do your job. That's the stressful part.
Say that again.
And you're not given the direction you need to be able to do your job efficiently. So it's like, okay, where do I go from here? How do I call the shots? What choices do I have to make that'll keep me safe? But also, you get, especially when you're new to the scene, you get little seeds of doubt. Like, am I making the right choice? What if I mess up? What if I get reprimanded for this? So it was definitely a big test, but I think I passed it. So I ended up speaking to my superiors. They said I made the right call. So I wouldn't necessarily call that an incident, but that was a really big turning point for me, just as an EMT. So.
Of course. And plus, besides that, in general, I think in disasters, that's not uncommon when there is a lot of miscommunications because there's lots of different people that are working from all different areas. And it's just a lot going on. I mean, that's the definition of a disaster, right? Where you are maximizing your resources, right? And it sounds like you were able to address your concerns. And in the second that you felt like it's unsafe, you made sure to keep yourself safe, which is really, really important because our job number one is to make sure that we don't become an next patient, right?
It's like, what's the point of me getting COVID if I can no longer be of service then and I can't help others? So.
Of course. Scene safety, right? Rule number one.
Exactly. BSI scene safe. I can still hear my instructor say it in my head.
That's awesome. Sweet. Tell me, how did that incident affect you? And then did you have any help afterwards? Like, did you have to debrief? Was there any
Absolutely. I immediately called my superior, let her know what was going on. And basically I went, play by play, because in my head I'm thinking maybe I missed something or could I have approached it different, and she was really supportive of me. I called a dear friend of mine, also a first responder, and he assured me, your safety is number one. And the biggest takeaway from that is it made me realize just how important my intuition is and how next time I'll be more aware of the situation, obviously, because, it was a new setting, new environment, And it just made me feel confident after that. Yes, I did make the right call. I'm not the blind leading the blind right now. And it's important to listen to your intuition. And like you said, especially during disasters, because if you're out, you're no good. So it just gave me an assurance that, listening to your gut, you can never go wrong with that. It'll always steer you in the right direction. So I think the next time I won't doubt myself so much or have those little voices in my head. I'll be like, hey, it's not safe. Let's get out. Or something's not right. Let's check it out. So
That's awesome. Your little spidey sense told you right.
yeah, like I said, God has a sense of humor this year.
Hold my beer and watch this. Famous last words, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome because you also, after what had happened,
Mhm.
you had your incident, or
Mhm.
I mean, to everybody, incident is anything that placed you out of your comfort zone, right? So you had
Yes.
something happen, and then the first thing that you did is you picked up the phone and you called. You picked up the
Mhm.
phone and called a friend, which is exactly what you were supposed to do in order
Yeah.
to get the support and be able to debrief instead of spinning in your head. I don't know about you, but I tend to do that where I just start spinning things in
Oh
my
my
head instead of getting out and actually verbalizing it
Yes.
to somebody, and then it doesn't have that hold on you anymore, right?
Yes, it's like you hear, those little voices in your head, and it's just, and then you have those seeds of doubt planted in you, and you're like, oh my God, could I have done something to avoid this? And you're thinking of all these scenarios. So I understand.
That's awesome. Tell me, what support would have you liked to get in that situation?
Can you say
Well,
that one more time?
what would be helpful to you in that situation in terms of like support that you could have gotten?
Well, I obviously wish there was a um, better turnout for the staff of the facility I was at. I don't, like you said, with disasters, with everything changing so rapidly, miscommunication happens a lot. But I was actually really pleased with the support that I did get from my superiors. So, I mean, I can be more grateful to them. So I felt a whole lot better afterwards and afterward in my decision in calling the shots that I did. So,
That's awesome.
yeah, because she got to me right away and assured me I made the right call, and we followed up the next day. So I couldn't ask for anything better, to be honest. So
That's awesome. I'm really glad that you had a positive experience after that.
yeah,
Definitely stressful event. And I don't remember if you mentioned it or not, but I think it happened at night, right? And it was
yes,
like, it was not a day event. This was not a 5 o'clock in the morning
it
thing.
was.
That's like,
It was night. It was at night in the middle of a thunderstorm, and the power was going off. So when I drove up and it started thundering, that should have been my cue that, oh boy, this is not. Is this a sign of things to come, or is it just a coincidence? So, so yeah, I just retreated, went back to my hotel, just got some rest, followed up the next day, and then went back home. So,
good. Fabulous.
mhm.
Thank you. Tell me, what's your next step? What are you doing now?
Right now, I am just enjoying some time off and just waiting for my next orders any day now. So I'm assuming I'll be deployed maybe either to the Bay Area, Southern California, and then just keep going from there and just being available to be sent wherever as long as this thing keeps going. So,
Thank you so much for all of your service. And is there anything you wanted to say before we get offline?
uh,
Any last
just
messages?
there's a lot, but I'm going to keep it short and simple. I understand people want to reopen. We want to get back to our normal lives, and I mean, we all do. Nobody wants to be in this setting that's changed overnight, it seems. But this thing is real, and you can go out, you can enjoy life, but just be safe. Take those extra precautions, because like me and my family, we have the saying: we're happy, we're healthy, and let's do what we can to keep it that way. So we're not out of this yet. So just enjoy life, but also just keep in mind those extra precautions, implement them, and do it not just for yourself, but for those around you too. So that's my PSA for the day.
Thank you so much. And thank you again for your service. And I'm looking forward to running into you again.